One of Australia's leading tourism bosses has warned city and regional hotels will be forced to close as the COVID crisis deepens. Occupancy rates at some of the 400 Accor hotels have plummeted to 5%, prompting calls for the federal government to set a countrywide reopening date. Joining us live is Simon McGrath, the Accor Pacific CEO. Simon, appreciate your time. This situation, as I just described it, is clearly untenable for a business like yours. I understand you've written to the Prime Minister, you're asking for more help. What is it that you urgently need? Are we just talking about financial assistance, or is setting a firm reopening date almost as important for businesses like yours in terms of giving you some hope, some certainty?
Look, I think it's in two parts. I mean, we all know that tourism will rebound, and let me assure you we're hearing that from our loyalty members and customers today. But there's a point to which the tourism industry is lagging behind the vaccination process and border openings. And so we need to make sure that these wonderful employees throughout tourism stay engaged with the businesses, and the businesses have the means to engage them and support them. So getting them from today through to November and towards the end of the year, there is tough times, and there's tough times not created by the industry, but created by the wider economic environment. So it's about reinstating JobKeeper to keep these employees engaged. And as I said, we're going to need these employees. They're wonderful. They represent the best of Australian tourism. So that when we do open up, we've got a buoyant, strong industry that will play a very strong role in the economy.
Are you getting any signals from the government that they're listening and are planning to do more in this space? And also, how are the hotels who are not in those hotspot areas coping? What sort of occupancy rates are you talking about in places where they really rely on travellers from cities that are in lockdown but are currently living with freedoms at the moment?
Yeah, look, I think it's interesting, actually. The hotspot areas do receive some short, sharp financial support, and that was the intention of that financial support that's been delivered. In actual fact, to be in an area that's not a hotspot is in fact tougher. There's no financial support, and yet the feeder markets of Sydney and Melbourne are stood down, and therefore it's very hard for you to attract business into some of the great leisure destinations of Australia. So we're talking to government about that. They are listening, but it is a really tough period for the tourism sector, and I don't think, and certainly know that we can't wait on the discussions around high vaccination rates and border openings. We've got a period of time from today now towards the end of the year. It's a 3 to 6 month issue that we need to make sure that the tourism industry is supported to get through, and we keep our employees engaged. And that's ultimately the issue, is to make sure these great employees remain engaged with the industry.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you, Simon, like CEOs right around the country, are currently grappling with debates around vaccination, mandatory vaccination for workers, but for travel companies like yours, for tourism businesses, also looking at vaccinating for guests who come to your hotels. Is there something you can do on that front? We've obviously seen some of the incentives that Qantas is looking at. Are you looking at going down a similar path?
Yeah, look, in fact, we joined with Qantas on that vaccination support for loyalty members and so on. And what is pleasing is that throughout the Australian community, there's an understanding now that vaccination is the ticket to travel, and that's great. And that's why you're seeing such strong levels of vaccination within the tourism industry amongst our employees and certainly amongst our guests. They're looking forward to travel. They know that it's a ticket to play in terms of opening up. And, if we can do that, do a support on that and assist that, we do so. And that's what we did with Qantas earlier this week, and joined with them to make it a great benefit for those that do travel and get vaccinated.
So, McGrath, we all look forward to getting back into hotels, getting back on planes and getting back some of those freedoms, hopefully sooner rather than later. Appreciate you joining us. Thank you.
That's a pleasure. Thank you.